Sunday evening hangout with me. I'm Kate Bowditch, and I am a clinical hypnotherapist. I am a counselor, mental health counselor from Everett, Washington, and I'm really glad you've come to join us. You can find most of my YouTube pieces here are on YouTube under Kate Bowditch, Bowditch, and my website is www.katebowditch.com. I'm going to mute. We're getting a delay of Steve, can you mute your mic? Just mute your mic if you would. Much better. Okay. You see? Fear of failure. Oh boy. I'm hoping he will mute his mic. I'm still hearing you. I'm still hearing a reverb. It's not his mic, unfortunately. I'm getting a reverb out of my own, and I'm really apologizing for this. My IT guy will that'll help a lot. Shutting the door. Okay, so today we're talking about the fear of failure and where that can go with us. And that didn't help at all. That did not help at all. Hang on. Steve, that did not help.
I'll be leaving you.
It didn't help.
I'm leaving you. Okay.
All right. There. I'm afraid I'm still hearing myself.
Sayonara.
So here we are, wallowing around in technical details that won't help in the long run. But I think he's fixed it. I don't know what that was all about, but I think he fixed it. So here we are. We're talking about the fear of failure. I've just wallowed belly full through a little patch of that myself. I have a very great fear of being wrapped up in the technological world and swallowed whole, but I work on that daily. So I was introducing myself. I am a mental health counselor and from Clearwater Counseling and Hypnotherapy. You can see my blog at www.katebowditch.com, KATEBOWDITCH.com. I'm on Facebook with the name Kate Bowditch, MA, LMHC. That's for licensed mental health counselor. I'm in Everett, Washington, and I have a presence both in my office here, and in the internet. So you can see me like this in a webinar, and also online individually or in groups. And all you have to do is call me and we can set up an appointment time that is mutually beneficial. That's 425-783-0337. That looks, oops, I sat on it. That looks like this. And very soon I will actually learn how to run the little banner that goes like this across the bottom so that you have lots of time to copy this phone number down. Anyway, welcome. So I'm looking at overcoming the fear of failure tonight, and I see it a little bit. I want to tell you some stories. This is going to be a night of stories. It's the big bad wolf. Fear of failure is definitely the big bad wolf. It lurks in the dark. It sneaks around the pine trees and it waits to grab you the minute you want to do something. You want to do something creative. You want to do something fun. You want to do something in front of people. You want to tell people about something that's wonderful for you. And you kind of go, boop, and you don't. You hold back. You have some fear that says no. Don't share. Don't go out. Don't sell to them. Don't tell them because you might fail. The joke won't be funny. The story won't be loved. The song will be a flop. You can't do that character in the play. You can't take that test. You can take the other test for the thing you don't want, but you can't take that test for the thing that you do want. This goes on and on and on. Me and IT, So I have 3 steps. 3 steps that can, if you truly get down to the bottom of these things, you can really beat that big bad wolf. Because the big bad wolf is beatable. The fear of him is the fear of fear. And that's really pointless, but it's everywhere. We all have the fear of fear. Oh, I might get so locked up I can't do it. The guy's finally made it to the top of the hill in his skis, and he can't go over. He has to take the ski lift back down again. It's all around us. It's everywhere. Fear. I might make an outfit, and if I put the outfit on and it's not perfect, I'll just die. I'll just die. I love that expression. I'll just die. Not too many people die of failure. Not too many people die of failure. Failure is the fear of it. So I have 3 steps that really do help in getting up and over that big bad wolf. Just how to blow him off the stage. But I want to tell you, first of all, failure is not about you. It's not about you. It's about the idea. It's about the work. It's about all the hopes and dreams. But it's not about you. So when things fail, it's not you that has failed. It's just the idea or the item or the whatever that kind of didn't make it. So really thinking about that, the big bad wolf comes in 2 stories, big stories. Now, I don't know about young people today, but there are myths and stories that used to be told because the internet didn't exist and nobody could read or write, and there were no teachers, and nobody did much of anything except sort of do what they had to do to live. So the moral stories were taught through fairy tales, which all have moral teachings in them. And so the fear of failure comes through the big bad wolf, and I'm going to pull up 2 stories. The first, I call it the Huff Puff story. It's really the 3 little pigs. And there were 3 little pigs, and they inherited some money, and they decided to go their separate ways, as they should, and build a life for themselves. And so those of you who know the Three Little Pig stories, you know the first he went out and he spent all his money on his straw to build a house with. He liked straw in his house. And I have a thing coming in, and it says, people think failure is about me when I am in the middle of it, even if it isn't about me. Yes, of course, you are the fulcrum, but it's still, the fulcrum is not the teeter-totter or the seesaw, depending on which part of the country you're in. So Little Pig goes and he buys a bunch of straw and he builds a house. And Second Little Pig looks at that and goes, it doesn't look too good. There's a big bad wolf out there, and straw doesn't look really good. So he builds his out of sticks. And the Third Little Pig, he knows that big bad wolf, because the story goes, it's much longer than this, of course, and he knows that big bad wolf very well, and he builds a house of brick. And so, of course, the stories vary at this point. The wolf either blows the straw house down and eats the pig, or the little pig runs to his brother's house, and then he goes to the house of sticks. And then he goes to the house of bricks, and of course he can't blow it down. And for me, that's a story of being able to look something squarely in the eye and say, yeah, it's kind of big, and I better do something about it. And so if you do that, if you take care of that, even though that's kind of inside the box thinking of building your structure that you're going to do stronger and better, you rehearse more, you practice longer, you edit that piece more often, you get more people to edit it for you, you take it here, you go there, that works in that. When you finally are out there, you know that it's strong and it's good. And that's sort of inside that box. Now the other story is Little Red Riding Hood. And Little Red Riding Hood got shifted by Hans Christian Andersen. But that's another story for another day. The old story, the old Little Red Riding Hood, she finally gets to the cabin where her grandmother is sick and she's taking her the cookies or whatever it is she was taking her. And she goes in and says, my grandmother, you have rather large eyes. And of course the wolf has eaten grandmother and is in the bed with grandmother's hat on. And so they have this little go around, and the little girl figures out, that's the big bad wolf. And she picks up an axe and whacks at it and kills it. Dang, right there on the spot. Cuts its gut open, and out comes Grandma. Okay, Grandma somehow lives through all this, and it's fine. And that is about adaptability. That's about walking along, thinking life's great, you've done everything right, you got your back a little bag of cookies, you're going to go visit Grandma, everything's great, and boom, there it is. You suddenly go, oh, I don't know what to do. And so you pick up the axe and you slay the wolf. You take matters into your own hands, you are adaptable, you step back, and you take care of it right there. You just take care of it. So those are two pieces when you can step back and say, yeah, there's a big bad wolf of fear that I may really pratfall on this one. And you either rely on lots and lots of research and doing lots and lots of good work on whatever it is you're going to do, or you rely on your own adaptability and your own ability to kind of step up to the plate when it happens and not worry about it, or you do both. And those are two pieces within the idea that the fear isn't you. The fear is something out there that you've got to slay. And I kind of like that. So there's one step, one idea for the fear of failure. The other is to realize that people they really want things. They want ideas, and they want you to supply them. They want you to supply them with whatever it is. And they're looking for someone to supply them with what they want. whether it's an idea or not, whether it's an item, whether it's a good play, a funny joke, a nice massage, whatever it is, if they have come to you, they want from you that which you can give. Now, there are two ways to look at this. One is that you already have an item, an idea, a concept, a book, a song, an idea. Maybe you want to mow lawns. Maybe you've got the best technique for washing windows that ever was. Whatever it is, all that's involved in not having to slay the big bad wolf. You can avoid him completely by finding the audience that wants exactly that thing. I don't wear bikinis. I'm not going to buy a lot of bikinis from you. But other people want bikinis. They want to go to the beach in a bikini. You're going to be right there with the most beautiful bikini. You're going to be fine. They're going to buy your bikini, and it's going to be great. You have a story to write. You have a desire for a certain kind of work that you enjoy doing. Your only job is to find the one. You only need one person. If you're looking for a job, you only need one person who says yes. Doesn't matter how many don't want you. That's just eliminating the ones that don't want you. All you need is one. I used to run a class. It was called Dating Strategy for the Suddenly Single. And it was based on the premise that there are more men in the world right now than ever have been if you bundled them all up in one big bundle. And this was mostly for women, but it turns out a lot of men turned up in my classes. So the reverse is also true. You only need one. Just one. So the more who turn you down, the more you can just blow them away. Forget about them. I think of Thomas Edison and his light bulb. How many times did he try to make a light bulb? It was way up there. So it wasn't he that failed. It was the metal he was trying, the system he was using, the whatever. And he changed it frequently and quickly. And eventually was successful to everybody's delight. The other is, okay, so that's if you have the item and you're trying to find the audience. The other is that you already see the audience. You know what that audience already needs. And even if they haven't put their finger on it, they don't have a word for it yet, they're not quite sure what it is, you see it, you know what they need, you go for it, and you get it for them. They are all over you. And I think of my grandfather. My grandfather was basically too young for World War I, too old for World War II, but he was in World War II, and he got to Italy and a bunch of other dreadful places during that time. And when he came back, those were the bad old days, and hospitals had to keep all their own supplies at that time. And he came back knowing full well that the hospitals in his city were going to be in deep doo-doo because all these young men were going to come pouring in. And because he got out, he was in and out fairly early. And he knew they were going to run out of everything. And so he spent every dime he had to stockpile bandages, needles, sheets, pillows, catheters, you name it, whatever a hospital needed. And he had a deal, which was, when you run out, you call me, I'll get it to you. 24/7. And for 2 years, I don't think the man slept more than 3 or 4 hours at a time, because the call would come in from a hospital, we're running out of bandages, we don't have any more needles, we've got to have this, we've got to have that. And he would guarantee that the hospital would have it within, I think, 4 hours, or it was free, or some crazy system like that. And he developed this whole business that lasted him for years and years and years, and it was called laboratory services. And he finally got into the lab part of it, the glassware and the Bunsen burners and things like that. And because he saw the audience first. So as you stand looking at your audience, whether your audience is your family, whether it's your neighbors, whether it's somebody out there that you haven't met yet, what do they want? What is it they truly want? If you're not sure of your product, who are these people? What do they want? You go get it for them. You will be successful. That's step number 2. So we have here the 3 pigs, which is prepare well, do your work before you present. The other is rely on your adaptability and be able to be adaptable. The other is either you have an idea or a concept or a song or something that you want to put across. You have to find the audience that is interested before you get started. And the other is that you know the audience already, and you just have to, and you'll find what they need and want, and they will be there for you. And the last little piece to this is a piece that I've really had to wrestle with in the last few months because it was new to me. And believe me, I have lived a long, long time with the fear of failure. I moved far away from my family so that they would only know my successes, which wasn't quite fair, I don't think, but it saved me. It was fine for me. I didn't like being in that middle place, that fulcrum place. But a few months ago, a man said to me, there is no such thing as failure. There's no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. And I said to myself, whoa, wait a minute, what? I mean, I've been around a while, didn't know about that one. Tell me about it. And he said, there's only feedback. And really the only failure is not applying the feedback. You see the feedback, and if you don't apply it, there's no crying about it, because that's your choice. So that's powerful. And that brings it right back up to, oh, it's not about me. It's about what I'm doing. And what if I'm doing is a little off key, off kilter. It's not what I want to have out there. Then I can go back into the loop again and be adaptable and learn my audience and find out what I'm doing and do it well. But it's not about me, because you were born with a huge ego and great self-esteem, and you have the right and duty to get back to that and say, yes, I count, and I'm fine, and I'm going to be out there, and I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to be fine, because you're going to be fine, because you're already fine. You're already fine. So on that, this is Kate Bowditch. Oh, I have a new little thing here. It says, I like to fail in private. The failing is often the fear of being seen failing. So I guess I'm not afraid of failing as often as I am afraid of being judged for failing. Right. And who's the judge, really? If it's not about you, if it truly isn't you, you are not, nobody is a failure as a person. That person. We breathe, we're alive, we're awfully successful at a lot of things. Even really terrible, awful people can stand and say, yeah, I breathe, I'm alive, I've made it this far, I've succeeded at a few things. So being seen or judged for failing is the killer. And I agree. That's a tough one. I challenge that. I think that being seen or judged for failing is extremely painful when in fact we agree with them. Deep down, we kind of agree. And that needs to be thought about. So I'm going to think about that one. I've fallen off a horse in front of other good riders. That was pretty bad. I was fine, but I left my ego there in the haystack. Um, yeah, I've done some royal pratfalls in my life, and yet here we are. Here I am. In fact, some of my videos here are pretty raggedy around the edges too. But I go on, and you go on. Body parts didn't fall off. I had both ears, both arms, my hair, whatever. Um, and if you don't fail, is it okay to be successful? And I'm still wrestling with the idea that fear of success, fear of failure are kind of the same in many ways, because that's other people's judgments at many times. And if you don't fail, is it okay to be successful? And which is more scary to bear? That fear of being seen as a failure, or once you succeed, you can't go back. You can't pretend that didn't happen, and that puts you in a different league. So that's a whole other issue, and we will probably talk about that soon. Um, Frankly, I like success. I've had a few good ones in my time on, just project or idea or concept. Uh, it's a lot more fun. I have to learn new behaviors, but it's a lot more fun. Success is just, a lot more fun. So to your success, to blowing the big bad wolf right up the nostrils and off the stage, I hope we meet again. Take good care of yourself, and good night. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.